need to do once again, what we need to do to be able to ping from DMZ outside, and to resolve the names, actually to ping by name outside again from DMZ, which by default is stopped on the OpenSense. So to have what is shown here, the line to, some of the protocols to be allowed, and some of the ports to be allowed. So the ping by name and IP address to be done from the DMZ to internet, we need initially to allow this DMZ, the www1, to communicate on the TCP and UDP with the server 1. So why TCP and UDP? Because DNS protocol works on both, and it's supposed to be allowed here to work on the port 53, which is the port standardly used by DNS. So this guy to be able to communicate with DNS server, which we already have here installed, and to be able to access the outside world. So let's do it now. Just once again to check our DNS server to see everything is okay. So if I do an lookup here on my that's in my LAN, and it's active domain controller as well. No problem, it is the DNS server, and this guy here is the resolver. It resolves Google to IP version 4 address. Now the next thing we need to check here, just in case, is in our web server. We need to ping here, well, we need to check what is our DNS server. And the DNS server, as you see, it is this guy here. So I do IP config. That's the IP address. So this is the guy. Okay. Now the second one, of course, is in case that's the firewall itself. So what we need to do here, actually not here, we need to do it on the firewall, is we need to open the firewall, and we need to go to the NAT, and we need to go to the, I'm sorry, we need to go to firewall section, and we need to go to rules. Okay, so the rules, we will create them one by one now. Applying the rule, the ping now is propagated. Okay, so that's the rule we applied. On the protocol part, once again, is the ICMP protocol we allowed, and we allow that's the explanation, and indeed everything else is any in this case. Now, if I would like to create a second rule, which I need actually, because if I come here and if I try to ping Google, well, I cannot still ping it because there is nothing which to resolve, right? So I have no connection still to my resolver here. So basically, what I wanna do is to create a second rule which will allow this thing. Indeed, I could either create new rule by adding it, or simply I could clone this rule. I click on the clone the third symbol here, and I'm just gonna simply clone the rule. It's faster, you could just do stuff a little bit faster. Let me just for the video to show it again. Here's the two rules we have now. We have our rule which allow the ping from DMZ the internet by IP address, and then we allow the resolution to our DNS server in our LAN from DMZ, and now as you see we are able to ping Google even by name. Now we have this, but if I would like to, if I open my browser, and if indeed I would like to access something on the browser from outside, you're gonna realize, guys, it is also stopped. I will not be able to do anything about it. So let me open in the browser just for you guys to see. So when I'm in the browser and I do google.com, see, nothing will appear. And that's because, as I mentioned, by default DMZ, all the protocols are down. Everything is stopped by default. So I need to allow the protocols, and the protocols which are working with to access Google in our case are the HTTPS and HTTP. So I need to allow these protocols also here. Google too. So here it is. If I come back to if I come back to the rules which I just applied, I apply the two rules on the DMZ one net again. Any destination ports here for this one, the destination port is 80. For the next one is 443. This is the non-secure, and this one is the secure web communication. I change also the description here, and when I try to open Google, of course now I have Google available there. So this is how we allow things to happen on DMZ by using the DNS server which we have already in our lab. If there are no questions, I will proceed. If you remember, from my real computer's browser, if I try to access my one interface by a certain port, so that's my real one, 192.168.88.231, and if I try to access it by a certain port, so I'm doing port forwarding, I cannot access the web page which I have here. You know, if I do here localhost, this is what I'm supposed to see, teacher one. Okay, now since I cannot do this at the moment, I need to allow it on my firewall. So how we do it? So first I need to go for the NAT. I need well, first actually I need to create the alias. Creating an alias is easy. Just click on the plus sign. You call it something. I will call it web server without dash. Actually, it will be web server, and the description indeed will be web server 1. That's just the description, and for the content, well, what's the type? It will be a host, but as you see, you could use network ports, URLs, and so on and so forth. For me, it will be a host, and this host will be 192.168.150.200. Just to double check our web server. Here it is. When I do IPA, that's what I have as an IP address. So that's what I'm using here for the alias. I'll say save, and my alias is done. The next thing which I need to do now is to go to the NAT, and I need to create a port forwarding rule. So from outside need to be able to access inside this host. Now notice that some rules has been created automatically when we some nothing rule has been created while we were creating our system. So it is like with the rules. There are things which are created automatically. Just to remind you, if I go to LAN, let's say, you see there are 9 rules which are created automatically with the system, as well as whatever we do on the system, it will allow automatically some rules as well. So that's how the firewalls are working actually for the stateless firewalls, how they work. So I'll back to NAT and port forwarding, and I will create my rule. While we're creating the NAT rule, it's important for OpenSense, especially the NAT reflection, to you guys to choose enable. So be sure you're gonna click enable here. That's important thing, and we're gonna call the rule. We're gonna do a description. We're gonna say accessing internal web server from one, which is for us internet. Okay, and I'll save the rule. I will apply it. Here how it looks. You need to apply it on the one interface. You need to have protocol TCP, and you need to have the source ports and source addresses. I need put it here. Now the destination address is supposed to be your one interface, or in my case it's 192.168.88.231. Excuse me. And the port which will be translating will be 8.88 in my case for 8s. The what will be translated will be the web server inside we created as an alias, and it will translate it, translating the HTTP. So it will work without any problems since you know,